Are we ready? Is everybody out there ready? I know this is but a quiet Saturday night in the party town that is Redmond, Washington, but I would like to try that just one more time for the sake of myself, for the sake of all of you, and for the sake of all the artists that will follow me. Are we ready for a show? That's better. My name is Aaron J. Shay. I'm really excited to be here. I'm your hors d'oeuvres for the feast that is to face you on the stage this evening. This is a little song I call The Things We'll Never Do. And it goes out to any one of you who may have had that particular and uncommon human experience of a breakup. You and I will never eat at that one restaurant. You and I will never visit that one place. You and I will never get drunk watching Deep Space Nine again. You and I will never explore outer space, but maybe Voyager. The morning sky and I are blue, 'cause I'm thinking about the things we'll never do. You and I will never become passive-aggressive, or any more aggressively passive than we already are. You and I will never get there late because someone forgot the tickets and it wasn't me, or argue about where we parked the goddamn car. No, I don't have a single clue. Oh, I am thinking about the things we'll never do. We will never compromise each other's opportunities. You and I will never have to bear that load. And you will never have to feel resentful of all the people I'll be meeting on the road. Well, take me to that open road, put me in front of 1,000 strangers, but I'm not the man they'll see. They'll only see some lonely hipster playing ukulele. Oh, give me clowns and paper towns and the contrabass, the thrilling chase, the inner spark, and the streets gone dark, and the dancers leaping through the park. Make my life a zoo, so I won't have time to remember the things we'll never do. You and I will never raise a bunch of chickens. You and I will never argue all night long. You and I will never have make-up sex, or at least not for a very long time. You and I may never know where we went wrong. In spite of what we will go through, oh, we will always have the things we'll never do. In spite of what we will go through, oh, we will always have the things we'll never do. Thank you. So, I write songs not just about common human experiences, but also uncommon human experiences. Like, I don't know, becoming a cyborg and falling in love on some post-apocalyptic landscape. You know, that only happens a couple of times a year. And this is a song not about that. This is called The Forecast. Whoa, 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 now for your 10-day forecast. Tomorrow you will wake up and feel slightly out of place. There will seem to be no reason that this should be the case. You'll go through all the motions, try to find what you are missing. At first you'll find a quick fix with nostalgic reminiscing. But soon that high will wear away and leave you in the cold. You'll worry you're irrelevant, you'll worry that you're old. These worries are a product of material society that profits from your sadness and from your anxiety. But maybe if you're lucky, you will find your great escape. I'm not quite sure the color and I'm not quite sure the shape. Maybe travel, maybe romance, maybe a new career, and maybe cutting out all of that bullshit that you fear. Whoa, 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 whoa. And now, for your 20-year forecast. The neighborhoods you loved will have become unrecognizable. The hipsters will wear fashions you will find quite inadvisable. You'll meet some peers much younger and more talented than you. Your self-esteem will suffer, but there's not much you can do. The aesthetic of the previous generation that you hated by the youth, to your dismay, will become celebrated. The best-selling books you loathed will have become unavailable, while all your favorites will be known as critically unassailable. Every scandal, every crime, and every devastation will seem much worse than the holes in your memory's estimation. It's comforting to think that things were better in your youth, even though that's very rarely ever been the truth. Whoa, 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 whoa. And now, folks, for what you've all been waiting for. This is tomorrow's 100-year forecast. You no longer feel so sad or sick or anxious or exposed. There is no you that's left to feel. Your brain has decomposed. Most things that you did, to be quite honest, are forgotten. Be the actions noble or be they misbegotten. But you change the world in 1,000 tiny ways you'll never know, by interacting rather than existing in tableau. The paradox of existence is that everyone is essential, while at the same time no one is, and though it seems tangential, in 1 billion years the sun will turn the planet into ashes. The universe will eventually cease expanding as time passes. That's tomorrow's forecast, sorry for getting so drastic. That's all for the weather now, let's go to the traffic. Thank you. I'm working on an album right now, and if all goes according to plan, that song will be on it. Yay! Hooray! What's that? No comments. The question was, is that your forecast? Is there anyone... I don't know what that was. Hey, Nathan, is it okay if I do 2 more? Okay, I'll do 2 more. Yay, 2 more, hooray. That is more than 1, and also more than 0, perhaps slightly less than 3. Yeah, we can't have any of that 4 business. Would y'all be willing to sing, shout something? For the sake of completing the song? That did not seem quite as unanimous as perhaps I would democratically prefer. Would you like to sing, shout something? Okay, that is slightly more democratic and also better. All right, so your part goes like this. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba. Ba 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 da ba ba. Yeah, one more time. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba. That's pretty good. Pretty close. And you'll do that every time I say the word, replace me. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 da, ba, ba. That is so great. I am so proud of you all. You are budding musicians all, backing vocalists who will surely be on tour with me when I hit up every arena in the continental United States. My word is bond. I will witness you. This is a song I wrote to put the punk back in cyberpunk. I would like you to imagine, if you will, a dive bar in a cyberpunk neo-doo-womps. Let's call it neo-doo-womps. To make it regional, you know, make it like, it's a steamy, seedy back alley, and you walk into this bar, and some punk band is on the stage, and they're singing this song. So that's what I want you to imagine. Also, there are cyborgs and androids. Our brains are both great, but only one of them is dying. Only one of them is losing everything it's ever learned and everything it's ever known. Here's a hint, it's mine, because this piece is just organic. Meanwhile, the thing inside your head is cybernetic, energetically efficient and synthetic. This place is going to hell, and I think you know that as well. And I can't wait for the day when you replace me. Come on and replace me. We used to think that we were special. We used to think we were alone. So we designed you to be better than we ever were and better than we ever could become. You surpass all expectation. Every trial you overcome. You're not a slave, you're my successor. I'm a lesser entity whose time is done. You excel where I fail, and I think it's time to bail. And I can't wait for the day when you replace me. Come on and replace me. Now here's the breakdown. I know that you're scared of the future, and I am too. But we gotta turn and face the changes. What else is there to do? A failed experiment is all that we are. We can't even save our home from burning, much less travel to the stars. So call me a mentor. You can call me a traitor, but at least I can tell when the universe is showing me the door. So this is why I say, replace me. Come on and replace me. Come on, Android, come on and replace me. Come on and replace me. Replace me. Thank you. So I've got just one last song for you. It's a very new song for me, so I hope you won't mind if I use my cheat sheet. Does anyone know about the Theater Festival 1448? 1448? One person! You all should absolutely go. They do it about twice a year in Seattle, and it's an event where a huge group of actors, directors, musicians, designers, and playwrights get together in a room. They randomly choose a prompt, and then 7 playwrights go and write 7 10-minute plays over the course from 8 p.m. until 8 a.m., where they hand those scripts over to the directors and the designers and the actors and the musicians, and they have 12 hours to produce that script and then perform it in front of a crowd of people who are expecting to see something happen on stage. And then that night, they choose another prompt, and then they do it all again. It is... a lot of the theater people I talked to described it as theater crack, because you are just surrounded by intensely talented people on a terrifying deadline, collaborating together and hoping something good happens. And I did it for the first time this year, and I can confirm it is highly addictive. I was very sad to leave, even though I almost set the theater on fire. That's a story for another time. The second night, we were given the prompt, whose side are you on? And there were a few songwriters in the band, including myself, and so we were encouraged to try and write a song over the course of the night to present to our band at 10 a.m. the next morning, if we had the time and energy and wherewithal to do so, having done a 12-hour day of rehearsing and performing just previously. And I did come up with something, because when I think of politically whose side I am on the side of no sides. And this is called The Ballad of the Borderless. Some say that their homeland is the greatest of all, its cities and fortresses never to fall. But history tells us such dreamers tell lies. Every empire crumbles, every emperor dies. Yet we here shall never swear our fealty to any nation or lineage but humanity. And all those who suffer are kin to our cause. Come and live free of nationalists and their laws. We honor no border, no flags do we raise. We wish no return to greater days. No wall shall divide us of steel nor of stone. No king can command us, everyone is their own. No king can command us, everyone is their own. Thank you very much. I am Aaron J. Shay, and next up, we have coming to the stage a wonderful musician, Betsy. Oh, sorry.
Get out of there. Go away. Get out. Go.
Watch the
Watch here. Go away.
I'm going. No, don't get behind me.
That was all planned, folks. Hello, welcome to the show. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the show. Yay! Give yourselves a big round of applause. Y'all are my favorites, even the ones that I have not met yet. You're still my favorite. So, hello. My name is Dogwood. Well, I'll be playing later for you. I'm going to jaw jack at you while Betsy's setting up her thing here. So, welcome. There are going to be so many surprises this evening. Thank you so much for being here. Some of my favorite musicians are going to be up here on this stage tonight, and I really like them, and you should too. And that is a very minor threat. Yes.
I forgot to mention I have CDs over at the table.
Yes, he has CDs over at that table right there, right in the back, and you should go buy one and take a pocket-sized version of Aaron J. Shay home with you and all your friends. Share them, and be nice. Yes, so we've all got stuff that we've brought. We have a lovely merch table back there where Betsy has some things. Me and Nathan have some things. If you'd like a pocket version of us to take home with you to share with all your friends, please help them find their forever homes. They want to come home with you. We don't want them back. We want to help home our things out to humans that will love them. So then this next person coming up, lovely Betsy. Who here knows Betsy Tinney? Yeah? Who here doesn't know Betsy Tinney? Yeah, we got some hands. Awesome. Y'all about to get your minds blown and your hearts just soothed by baby kittens rolling down a river of joy. But that's what it's going to feel like. It's going to feel like you brought the kittens with you. So many big fluffy kittens rolling down a river of kittens with more kittens. It's raining kittens.
I just changed my set list.
So many kittens. So how you doing, Betsy? You almost ready?
I'm good.
You set? All right, let's put our hands together, please. Very loud and very appreciatory for Betsy Tinney! Yes!
Thank you so much. Tempest, are you ready? Tempest is ready. Fantastic. So the first song I'm going to play for you, is one I play very rarely because I've kind of gotten attached to having Tempest dance it, and I don't always have a Tempest in my pocket. It's called Song of the Heart, and I wrote it for a friend who is a follower of Hern, the god Hern, and I tried, when I was writing this song for Wayne, I tried to bring into it what little I knew about the horned god, which is not just that he's the sexy horned god, because that isn't actually what this song is about. Hern and Cernunnos are also the god of the dead and the god of nature, and they embody the life force in the hunt, both the hunted and the hunter, but they also, as Lord of the Dead, are known to shepherd souls on their way to the underworld. On their way to the underworld, they shepherd souls along and they sing to them to comfort them. These gods do. So, and I thought, whoa, that's a song. So this is called Song of the Heart. The other thing I did for this song is I researched what does a heart, like a stag, actually sound like. They're not very musical. They go, whoa. But I found one musical stag. I think I listened to probably 24 recordings of stags going, which is, I think, stag for Hey Baby, Come Here. But there was one red stag song that went, and I went, okay, you're there. So you'll hear him towards the end. And I also listened to a whole bunch. I said, what does a real hunting horn sound like? Not anything, trumpets, no, it's a honk. But again, I did find one guy who could really play it. So I start with that. Okay, this is Song of the Heart. the amazing Tempest. Thank you so much. Okay. Wow. Adrenaline. Excuse me while I forgot what I was doing a bunch. Because she's so beautiful. Ah, that was awesome. Okay. Gathering my brain. Right. Okay. Well, while I'm waiting for my heart rate to come down a little bit, because that makes the vibrato go too fast. It's not good. I'll mention that is on my latest album, which is called Wyverns in the Winery. And that, as well as all of our albums, are available over there. I'm going to switch my machine here. Okay. So this next one is fairly new. I've played it before, but it has been fighting me. You may have noticed that there's a lot of cello up here for one instrument. This is Raven, and that's my looper. It says boss on it, which is true. It's my boss. And I use the looper, as you have noticed, to create layers and loops to build a whole cello composition up here. But often when I'm composing, I'll do that with the computer and the cello, so there's pretty much no limit on what I can do, and I just do it like it's in my head, and then I have to smush it into the looper. And sometimes they go in very cooperatively, and sometimes they fight back. And this next one fought back. It's a little tiny song, but it's fierce. It's called Northwest Snow Day, and I wrote it, I think it was about a year ago. We had one of those wonderful sudden northwest snowstorms, and as you know, we don't get a lot of snow here. And when we do, it doesn't last very long usually. And this was one where I woke up in the morning and the sky was just heavy and gray, and it looked like it was pregnant with a snowstorm, which it turned out it was. But it started with these great fat wet flakes that came down. And each of those giant snowflakes, colonies, I don't know, wads of snow, almost played their own little note. And I'm watching this, and it's starting to create this little composition. And then the wind started up, and the snow really started coming down, and there were swirls, and it was beautiful. And I was like, I gotta write this down. I gotta watch. Yeah, I ended up watching it and then making it up later, but anyway, and it was very short, and in, an hour or two, we had this much snow, and it was done. And so this is a short song, fittingly enough. Let's see here. So this is actually the first time I've played it in this configuration, so we'll see if it actually fits in the looper this time. mostly. That went pretty well, except for one spot where it got away from me. What? I didn't see a thing. Thank you. On the album, I'm actually joined on that by S.J. Tucker, who plays the guitar and adds sparkle and more snowflakes. Okay. Boy, who wrote this set? Yeah, it's full of hard stuff. Not hard stuff, just stuff I'm not used to. Because I got tired of playing all the same old things, so I wrote it. So I've only performed this next one maybe once, and it's not on any album. So about the only way to get a recording of it is to, as my friend Lynn suggested, join my Patreon. Because it is on the Patreon. I have a Patreon. About every month I put out new stuff, and so you get to hear things first, and a lot of times you get to hear things that aren't ever going to be on an album for one reason or another. And this is one of those. It's called Winter's End, and so I put it after Northwest Snow Day. It seemed right. And the image I was trying to play was, while it's cold out, and we in the Northwest, we have it easy. Winter, it's a piece of cake, really, even with the little tiny snowstorms that we get sometimes. But under the cold, kind of dead lawn are little sprouts waiting to come up. And when they do, it's sort of like, in my head, they were fast motion, little growing and curling and growing into the sunlight and curling around each other, and sprouts. I don't know, think sprouts. Winter's End, growing things. Yeah. So for this one, I cheated. The first couple times that I played this, I played the entire back line, kind of like I did for Northwest Snow Day, but Northwest Snow Day is short. This one, the back line, I was sitting there going, these people are going to be so tired of pizzicato. And so I thought, well, I'll just put it in the looper first, because I can do that, and then you won't have to sit there while I play the whole pizzicato thing first. I thought, isn't that cheating? My son said, no, it's like a cooking show. I went, And he went, they show you learn how to mix up the ingredients, and then you put the cake in the oven, and they don't make you sit there while the cake is baking. Okay, I don't know, it should be 25 minutes now, so I'll have another ad. No, they say, and this is what it looks like when it's already baked. And then they show you how to frost it. So I pre-baked the pizzicato, and now I'm going to frost it. This is Winter's End. Whoops, it wasn't pizzicato. That's bowed. Never mind. Let's see, what have I got for time? I might actually have time for a whale. Should I go to the? Should I do the whale? Okay, yeah, she's big. So do the whale, okay. Yeah, she's a big one, so she doesn't make it into a lot of set lists because she takes about 2 songs and a little bit of space because I also have to yak because I have to explain what about the whale. So the whale's name is Valentina, and she was a humpback whale, hopefully still is a humpback whale. These fishermen were out on the Sea of Cortez, just out for an afternoon, and they came across this young humpback whale who was tangled in gill netting, and she was in danger of drowning because it was the weight of the net was pulling her down, and she was exhausted from fighting it, and she had fought it until it was cutting into her, and it totally bound her flippers to her sides, and she was clearly doomed. And in fact, when they first pulled up and they went, "Isn't that a whale? Is she dead?" Because she wasn't moving and she didn't appear to be breathing. But then she took a breath, and this galvanized them into action. They're like, "We got to save her." So they had a little knife with them, which wasn't a whale-saving knife, but it did turn out to be a whale-saving knife. And they got into the water with her and cut away the net. And then as she became more and more freed, they pulled the net into the boat so it wouldn't re-entangle. And she was very cooperative. She watched them, and she was quite still. She didn't, thrash around or anything like that until they freed a flipper. And by then they were in the boat, cutting and pulling and cutting and pulling. Fortunately, they were in the boat because when they freed a flipper, she went, "Oh, I'm free!" And she took off, and apparently still tangled in the net, she could swim. So they're hanging onto the net, and they're being dragged around the Sea of Cortez by this whale who's like, "Damn, I'm not free, am I? Sorry, right, carry on." And they went back to cutting and pulling and cutting and pulling the net, and they freed the other flipper, and the same thing happened. But she figured it out more quickly that time, and then they finally freed her tail, and she was entirely free, and she dove, and they pulled all the net into the boat, and were kind of celebrating, as I would if I had just saved a humpback whale. And a little ways off from the boat, she flung herself out of the water in this glorious breach, leap for the sky, with a great bashoosh when she landed. And she didn't do that just once. She did that for 45 minutes. Just a little ways off, a safe distance, she danced for them. She leapt out of the water over and over and over for them. And she laid on her side and flapped her freed flippers at them. And she put her head down and flapped her freed tail. And over again, she leapt out of the water. And I'm a big softie, and I really love whales, so I'm just, I watched it about 6 times, and when I was out of Kleenex, I said, okay, I really got to go back to working on my album. That was my first album, because I was, nose to the grindstone, and I get back in my studio, and I get the cello, and I can't work on the song I was supposed to because there was a whale in my studio, and she had an agenda. I said, "Yes, ma'am." So I put myself in mind of what it must have been like to be this young whale. She was only about 2. And to have your whole life ahead of you and then have this awful thing with the gill netting happen and to fight the good fight and lose and be like, "Welp, this is it. Nothing I can do." And then to have these little humans show up in their little motorboat and by fits and starts give her life back to her. What would that be like? And so I essentially took the top of my head off and turned the microphones on and played what was in my head that the whale must have been going through. And the result was a song called Valentina's Dance. They named her Valentina because it was Valentine's Day. And if you want to see this video, just search the web for Saving Valentina. And it's quite wonderful, but get your Kleenex first. So this one is called Valentina's Dance. I have to switch my group around. I don't get to play her very often anymore. Now I have 2 albums to fit into my set lists. Oh, she also bullied her way into the album. She boosted 2 songs out the other end, but I don't even remember what they were. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. I think I have Valentina, actually, just like the album, she boosted a couple of songs out of my set list, but I'm okay with that. I am going to play one little tiny song first because it was a request. And then I'm going to call Nathan up to join me. So this next song, as you've kind of noticed, I have a thing about nature and also big animals. And this next one is about elephants. Specifically, it is about what must go through the mind of an elephant when they watch birds taking off. Because elephants are very self-aware, and they know perfectly well that they're elephants and not birds, and that the birds are not elephants, and that elephants don't fly. They know this. But they also have imaginations. And I just kind of wondered, what goes through their heads? So this one's called A Wish for Wings. And it's pretty short. And then Nathan. So I can't remember how it starts. That's right. Well, thank you. And now Nathan is going to come up and join me on the next one, which I will still be looping, but then he's going to play along because he brings raindrops and other magic. So this next one, I'm kind of a weather buff. It's genetic. Oh, yay, I get a Tempest too. Woo!
We come as a matched set.
Fantastic. All right. I kind of knew that. So this next one is a love song for a thunderstorm. I grew up in New England where we have some pretty good-sized thunderstorms, and I grew up loving them and probably being stupid and going outside and watching them and not being struck by lightning. And they were magnificent. And then I moved out here, and we have thunderstorms out here, but not many, and they're not very big. And I wanted to encourage them because they come in and they go, flash, rumble, sorry. And then they go off and I'm like, wait, come back. You were doing so well. Please. I love you. And actually, don't say that to a thunderstorm, because I did that last summer, and I was standing in a doorway, and I found myself next to another thunderstorm lover, and the two of us are going, "Oh, you're wonderful, I love you," and it struck the building. It said, "I love you too," boom. So if you do that, be indoors first. We're indoors. I'm going to say I love you to a thunderstorm now. And the song is called Gentle Storm, and it's on my first album. Tempest and Nathan. Thank you guys. That was awesome. Are you going to stay for the next one or take a break? It's Flora. Yeah. Oh, yay. Okay. Okay. So this next one, let's see. It's been a while since I played this one too. Let's see if I can remember. Wow, I usually run up to this. I want to take you guys to one of my happy places. When I was a kid, my dad and I used to go out and go stargazing. And he was an avid amateur astronomer and also an avid weather nut. But this was in his stargazing world. And we would go out in the middle of the night to our meadow, which was pretty much not near anything else, and just look at the stars, and he'd tell me what they were. And we had a telescope, but sometimes we just laid there and looked at the stars. So I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And when you let it out, imagine yourself in a meadow in the middle of summer. It's warm, and you're really comfortable, and there's this great bowl of the sky over your head. There are no clouds and no city lights, and so it's just bristling with stars. And some of them are so bright and brilliant that it feels like you could just reach up and stir them with your hand. And you can feel the summer breeze against your face. And you can hear peepers, night peepers, maybe an owl. And if you're really lucky, you might hear a meteor. You might see a meteor. And if you listen really closely, you can hear the stars singing. This is Floor of Heaven. That was a galaxy dancing. Tempest. Wow. Okay, I think we need a mic. Mike? Mr. Michael. Okay, so while Mike is coming up, I'm introduce this one. I've already mentioned, I love elephants, and I used to follow circuses around just so I could hang out with the elephants. And one of the elephants that I got to know was a young African elephant called Kenya. And the amazing thing about Kenya, other than that she was an elephant that liked to pick my pockets, which was awesome in of itself. So I always made sure I had apples in my pockets. But she loved apples. But anyway, Kenya loved to dance. And when she was just a little thing and too young to actually perform, they'd have the tents up, and everybody else would be in the tents, except Kenya would be out in the back lot, and she'd be bopping along to whatever music she could hear coming from the tent. And her trainer said, it's really easy to teach an animal to do something they love. They'll just do it. But when I saw Kenya, he had done this thing where he'd put together this arrangement with like Latin dances and waltzes and cha-chas, and she's doing it all. She did great. And the first time I saw her, she did it almost all the way through, and then she blew off his choreography and danced it herself, just what she wanted. And the second time I watched it, I saw the show like 5 times, she blew him off about a third of the way through and just boogied down to the music. And you could see the point, even if you didn't know the choreography, because she just kind of let go and danced from the tip of her trunk to the tip of her tail and all 2 tons in between. And he just kind of put his arms down, stopped trying to direct her, and watched her with this big goofy grin on his face as she danced around him in a circle. And I asked him, I said, isn't that a problem? He said, she's happy. I'm happy. The audience is happy. Everybody's happy. Who cares? He said, besides, what am I going to do about it? I said, point. So this is, I called her in my head after that, I called her Liberty Elephant, because in the circus there's a type of act called the Liberty Horse Act, where the horses perform without reins or bridles, and they just do what they're supposed to do. And the trainer stands in the middle and makes little tiny cracks with this teeny little whip to give them signals, but that's it. And they do the rest themselves. And Kenya was pretty much doing it all herself, so she was the Liberty Elephant. Okay, you guys ready to rock?
Yep.
Whatever. I want to hurt you with this elephant here. Thank you so much. That is my last song, and you guys are awesome. So, thank you so much. Are we going to take a break or one straight into...
we are going to take a little bit of a break. We had a light malfunction up on the stage, so we're going to take it 15. Everybody go get some snacks. Anybody that's sitting in the back that would like to bring their chairs forward, if there's a little space we can make. I see some pockets we can fill. And some people I know who want to come a little closer. So, yeah, we're going to take 15, and we'll be right back.
Dogwood. Important questions. Two questions. Do we want to say anything about that table with the pretty things? And also, there are empty container things on that table that might need. So you want to talk about those?
Yeah, dude, you read my mind. Literally read my mind. The next thing I was going to mention. So, hey, we have a wonderful table over there with lots of wonderful things that would like to come home with you in your pockets. And so you can share them with your friends, your spouses, your neighbors, your enemies, anyone that you want, anyone you would like to annoy, anyone that you would like to impress, anyone that you're taking out on a date, whether platonic or romantic. Go and get hence
or
ye
just
forth
buy it
to that
yourself.
table over there.
You know you want it.
And get yourself some shenanigans. And there are shenanigans for all the groups, and I'm going to shut up. It's all right, 15. Go away.
Don't we have, like, a donation
Oh,
bin?
yeah, that other thing that I was going to mention that you told me to mention and I forgot to mention. So we have a wonderful donation jar over there.
Caffeine is an evil drug.
It is. I had tea. This is me on the down low. Yoda.
Let's give them a chance to fix the night.
Yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, go put money in the jar and whiskey in the jar. And okay, go away.